Welcome back to the North Woods. Let's continue working on the Seadoo XP. Primarily going to focus on the outside of the hull today, just work on getting it cleaned up, do some fiberglass repairs, and then see where the day takes us. Alright, you didn't clean up too bad. Would have been a hell of a lot easier if I just took it outside and hosed it down, but winter's still kind of holding on here. It's only about 40 degrees outside right now, so don't exactly have good conditions to be doing that either, but I think this is good enough for now. So let's try and take a look at this fiberglass here and see if we can't rip this old patch job off and maybe do a little bit of a better job at fixing this. Well, good news, I guess. This is actually nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Kind of can't believe they just took a big chunk of mat and slapped it on there and called it good. I mean, honestly, I think it kind of would have been better to just leave it alone. That way, if, you know, any moisture that got in there could have just dried out instead of trapping it under there like that. That was a bad repair. I'll leave it at that. I think I'm actually going to grab a small rotary tool and widen some of these cracks out. And same with this right here. I'm just going to put a big divot in there, and then that'll give the marine tech something to hold on to. And then same thing with all these gel coat cracks in here. If we just open those up a little bit more, that'll allow the filler to grab more and do a better job overall. And then I think once we get that ground down and flat, then we can try and get this rub rail to sit a little bit better, and then maybe try and, I don't know if we could maybe fill this in with something here, but we'll see how it goes, I guess. So this is the motor for the VTS. I believe this one is shot. I have 12 volts coming up to it. I can hear the relays clicking over there in the electronics box. But this seems to be pretty much just froze up. I can put 12 volts directly to it and she does nothing. So I'm thinking that this is junk. But the rest of it works. I can put a ratchet on the worm gear in here and actually get it to move. So worst case scenario, if I can't get that motor working again, I can just manually set it to where I want it. Put it all back together and leave it, but I'm going to try and get this working. If you look right here, this is the indicator. Lets you know which direction your cone is facing. That should be all the way up right there. And that's all the way down. She's a little bit froze up yet. So for now, I think we're going to leave her somewhere right about there in the middle. And then that way, like I said, if I can't get that motor working or I can't find a new one, I can at least put this back together and we'll have neutral trim and our ride quality won't suck. Alright, before we go buying a new one of these, let's make sure this one's actually junk, see if we can't bring it back to life. Judging by the condition of the screws that hold it on, I'm pretty sure it's going to be locked up on the inside because these are all rusted. Ended up breaking one, cutting one, and one came out alright. But let's pull this apart and see what it looks like. It does move, but it doesn't feel very great. The actual gear that drives the worm gear, that feels pretty tight. That's not wanting to move. So we might have to pull that apart and see if we can get that moving too. But let's put power to this without it being connected in there and see if it does anything. And we got nothing there. I don't think it's going to make any difference if I switch these around. Nope. Nothing there. So pretty sure that motor's junk. We'll see if we can find a new one on eBay or somewhere on the internet. But for now, let's pull this apart and then just try and get the rest of the drive mechanism freed up. A little bit of WD-40 and synthetic grease and that's loosened right back up. Doesn't feel too bad actually, but just realized that these nuts are captive on these screws that hold the motor in. So if I do get a new one, I'm only going to have one screw that's holding it in really, unless I can come up with a similar way to hold that in there. But maybe I just get a whole new assembly. I don't know. Got to check the internet and see what I can find. So all these new assemblies are like anywhere between $70 and $100, I guess, which, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's more than I really want to spend on it right now. So we're just going to pop this back together and then just put it back in there. We'll set the trim to neutral, like I said, and then just leave it alone for now. If everything turns out and I get a lot of use out of this thing, I'll probably replace this in the future, but for now I'm just trying to keep the cost low. Alright, so putting this back together, I just had kind of an idea. I don't know if it's going to be stupid or not, we'll find out, but I think before they had the motors on them, this used to be kind of like a manual system, and that's why this sort of looks like a handle. So I'm wondering if I can like convert this to manual somehow, and I mean it seems like, you know, as you tighten, well, that's what gave me the idea, I guess, right in the first place, right? As I'm trying to tighten this nut to get it to go back into place, I can't jam the worm gear from moving. So just by tightening and loosening this nut, I'm driving the jet cone up and down. So I'm wondering if I can't get that tight on here to the point that I would just be able to use this as a handle to, I guess, more or less adjust the trim manually. And the only other problem with that is that this has this cutout in it, so once this is tight, you wouldn't be able to rotate this. So I'm thinking we can go put this on the mill and just machine it flat, and then that way when that's tight, we'll be able to use this as a knob to adjust the trim, hopefully. Alright, complete waste of time, or am I onto something here? What do you think? Drop a comment down there, let me know. Or I guess, you know, just wait 5 seconds, because we're about to find out here. Well, check that out. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right? Something like that. So there's trim all the way down, right there. And we got trim neutral and trim up. Look at that, just saved ourselves 70 to 100 bucks. No need to buy a motor. Perfect. We'll leave her there for right now and call that fixed. Just in case anyone's wondering here, this is the inside of the electronics box. That is your trim control module. I believe the green, white, and blue, white coming in are from the VTS switch, and the blue, orange, and what is this, green, orange are going out to the motor. These are the relays here that, like I said, I can hear those clicking when I have the battery hooked up and pressing that switch. And like I said, there was voltage going out to the motor, but just nothing happening, so that motor is definitely dead. But I kind of like our fix better. Always nice when you can save a couple bucks. And I mean, this probably, barring cracks in the plastic, this probably isn't going to break on me in the future, so that's kind of nice. We like that. Well, here we are after sanding. What we should do at this point is go at this with a layer of gel coat, but I don't have gel coat and I don't have the patience to deal with that right now. So we're just going to hit this with some high build primer and then paint it and kind of just hope for the best. Well, not gonna lie, I thought I was putting primer on there, but as you can tell from the instant orange peel effect there, I'm pretty sure it was just gray enamel paint. Should have read the can better, I guess. So we're gonna let that dry, come back, sand it, hit it with some primer, and start again. But in the meantime, we can get some of the other stuff that I ordered put on and situated. Well, that handlebar pad is pretty well shot. They usually are when they get this old, but picked up one of these black tip handlebar pad covers. These things usually run a little bit small, but let's see if we can't get it fit on there and get it stretched out and see how it looks. And these always come with stickers, so can't complain about that, right? Yeah, just as a figure, nice and tight. Oh, it's going to be a fun one. And there we go. So it is kind of a battle to get those on if you've never put one on before. Like I said, they do kind of tend to run small, but I think that's by design, because once you get them on there and get them in place, they really don't move. So as much as I bitch about them, I think it's actually a pretty good quality product for these older skis. And we can get some new grips put on too while we're over here. I used to lube these up with WD-40, but that never dries and they kind of slip off on you, so I just started using soapy water, and that tends to work a little bit better. Still has enough lubricity to work the grips on, but then you're also not ripping the grip off every time you go into a turn or something like that, you know. A lot of these grips will have a hole cut in the end for like an air relief. These don't, so if yours don't and you're having a hard time getting them on, you can kind of just poke a hole in the end of them And then that kind of lets some of the air pressure out as you're sliding the grip on, and they go on a little bit easier. But like I said, otherwise just simple green or soapy water or something like that. Alright guys, well, pretty uneventful ending to the jet ski video, unfortunately. I did get that repair all finished up, as you saw there, not the prettiest thing in the world. You could have taken gel coat and just rolled it right over the top of that, what was left there, and blended it in with the rest of the hull. Would have looked a lot better than it did, but all in all it was functional, it was watertight. I did take it out to the beach just one time. Here's a quick picture of that. So as much fun as I had that day, I just kind of decided to post it up for sale and get rid of it. Right now is kind of the best time to sell them if you're going to make any money off of them. It's the week before July 4th, so everyone's looking for a watercraft to go have fun on the weekend. And I mean, we got the boat, and to be honest, I just got too much stuff sitting around here that needs work. So, and it's only a matter of time before something goes wrong with a jet ski, and you're going to spend, you know, time and money working on it again anyway. So, sent that off down the road. Ended up getting $1,500 for it, which was quite a bit more than I thought I was going to get for it, even with the trailer. The last one of those that I had, I pretty much had to give the damn thing away. Granted, that was like 5 years ago, but ended up getting rid of that for like $500. This one made $1,000 more than that, so can't really complain, I guess. So I know it's been a while since I've posted any kind of a video. Even this one spanned the course of like 4 or 5 months now. Just been spending a lot of time out on the boat and then doing some work around the shop here. I don't know if you guys can really notice any of the differences, but got a few more shelving units, a bunch of hardware organization over there that I desperately needed. Get all of my snowmobile parts, all the tiny odds and ends, all in one place. I'm not running around chasing, trying to find parts, so that's kind of nice. But I've been also working on the F-150 back there, and you guys can probably see we got quite the grouping of sleds there that we're going to have to work on. And it's auction and rummage sale season around here, so I've been trying to stock up on new tools that I don't have as well. Picked up this little 4.5-inch bandsaw. That's going to come in handy real quick here. Came across a torch set, grabbed that for like, I think it was 60, 70 bucks. Thought that was a hell of a deal. Empty, but we'll go get those tanks filled, and that'll be nice to have around. And like I mentioned, been doing quite a bit of work to the F-150 there. Gonna have a few videos coming out on that. Hoping to have that back on the road before winter. Got quite the pile of parts sitting there yet. And these guys right here, these are the reasons that I ended up kicking the jet ski on down the road. Hopefully gonna have a video out on these sometime in the near future. Apart from a few videos on the old Ford there, hopefully gonna get back into the sled content and start cranking out videos on those. Just got, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 6 sleds to get to here. So we have, I mean, that's going to fill up all the time that I have until the snow starts to fall again. So hopefully things go to plan and I can start working on those. Just drawing up some plans for a sled lift right now. Hopefully going to get working on that this weekend and have that done. Just decided to make my own because the ones that are out there just don't have really good reviews for what you pay for them, and you know, they're looking at like $500-600 for a semi-decent lift, and I think I can make one for about half that. And now that we got the tools, might as well use them. And we can't forget the old Force outboard. Still going to be rebuilding that. Just haven't gotten around to getting comfortable with the boring bar there yet. Want to practice on a couple of junk cylinders there before I start digging into the block on this. Don't want to go ruining that before I even get a chance to put it back together. So one more thing on the list. Alright guys, again, I apologize for the shitty ending, but if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And I will hopefully see you soon. Got a lot more stuff coming out. Have a good one.